Hello, BAME Farm fans. Guess where we're at. I'm sure many of you have been waiting all season long for this update. We are in the no-till cornfield. And so far, so good. Right after it came up, I was a little worried that it wasn't going to do so well. The first 4 rows probably suffered some squirrel damage to the seedlings. And I can definitely tell it germinated slower because the tops haven't blown out of this. Now there's good tree protection from the wind, but not as many ears are falling down. I don't have a moisture test on it yet. The field we just came from is where I was chasing the piggies around, and we unloaded on the go. This is a separate video now, but the field I want to compare this to, I haven't gotten to harvest yet. That'll be after this one, because these two were planted within a day of each other. I planted one and then came over here and planted this one. So to compare our no-till versus tillage, and it's only about a mile directly west of here. So far so good. I'm kind of cheating, and I'm using the head for a lot of stock destruction, running it lower than I probably need to, since I'm going to be no-tilling beans into this next year. I'm putting a lot of extra wear on the corn head just so I don't have too much standing stock material left over. Let's see what's happening. Feels like corn, looks like corn. Maybe I see a little bit of less of those red stress marks. Maybe. We don't want to carry this around. Shrubbery. And I gotta watch. See, I brought half a load from the last field. Hopefully it wasn't half, but it was probably half, unfortunately, and I didn't want to do that, but I didn't have wagons and was trying to save time. So that was more of a hard roading than I wanted to do. Okay, let's reposition here, because I don't want to leave any deer snacks. Okay, go back up here. I'm obviously not going to get this whole hopper full on this wagon. We'll try not to have them so overloaded like we did it in the previous video. That gives it a little bit of room to slosh around. Free deer snacks, rats. I hate when I do that. Really, we need to get on with the looking at the corn out here. I should do that before the sun gets much lower, because it is late in the day, unfortunately. You know, harvested one field, kept going, went to the next. And the sun is coming in the other way, so we still really can't see what's going on back there very well. Oh, now that we're out here, let's compare height. It's pretty tall. That's 8 foot, plus a little bit more. It might have been 10-foot tall corn. Not that we necessarily need height to make grain. Let's take a look at a couple of these ears up close. I mean, we can see the grain going in the combine. Well, we suffered a little bit of tip dieback. So I wonder if we suffered dryness while this was pollinating. Take a look at this ear. Well, that one filled out pretty good. And I gotta try to count around. That looks like that's a solid 16. I don't know about 18. I don't know if I can count that quick. Well, everybody, count with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Okay, it's 16 around, not 18. That's pretty standard, pretty average. Here's another ear. We just suffered a little bit of tip dieback. That was a pollination problem. It didn't pollinate, the silks died. So maybe it was a little dry there. I mean, it wasn't in July, that's for sure. We got 6 inches. This one's kind of peeking open. A little bit of, maybe a wormy worm got in there, which, given all the grass, now that one had a little problem there too. Not saying it's all perfect. Have you ever had, well, where is it? Somewhere I saw goldenrod out in the corn. So we've got a good cover, unplanted cover crop. It was, the owner hopes I would plant a cover crop. And so far, the weeds that are here, like, I always think it's weird to see perennial weeds, especially in corn, but the corn was big enough, shaded it all out. I don't think the presence of goldenrod hurt me any. By the time it was doing anything, the corn was already, you know, way up in the sky. Well, here's a nice outside view. Maybe I can get Dad to drive this at some point for corn, just maybe. Just maybe. Well, we'll see what it yields, see how many wagons we fill, and we'll get on with this, see how dark it gets. It definitely retained its stalks a lot. Or not its stalks, its leaves. Not that we'll get a moisture test on the grain eventually. I'm just surprised how much leaf there is still on it. That would be really good animal feed. That's why they used to bundle and make corn shocks out in the field, and that's how they dry it. You know, they'd spend October and probably early November doing it before the weather got ugly, bundle it, and then you have husking bees in the winter, like competitions, which you'd be pulling the ear off all the stalks, and then they'd feed that to the animals. You know, they'd probably lay on the stalks, but they would retain the leaf, and they'd feed that to their animals in the winter. Now we just let it all go to waste, sadly. Okay, there goes Dad, which is great timing because I had 2 wagons full and I ran out of everything. Ran out of wagons and all of it. Woohoo, more views from the combine seat. I still have to get out and check, but this field was planted the day before the no-till corn was, and that's what I'm checking it against. The no-till field, the upper portion, which somehow, I guess it did really good, but the somehow is the bottom portion didn't. And maybe it's because it was near the creek and attracted a lot of deer to take deer snags. And there was a lot that was obliterated by deer, unfortunately. But the upper field where you saw me, you know, do the testing and stuff, I figure that averaged close to 170. With the lower portion across the creek and at the bottom of the hill, that brought the whole average down to 150. So that was pretty good in my first foray into no-till. I'm tickled to death with that. I mean, it's not like it was a fertilizer problem, it's just a wildlife. And the problem with that is field size, and it was only 8 acres. The bigger the field, you know, you have a better volume to perimeter ratio. So, you know, I'm sure if it was 20, 30 acres, a nice big rectangle or square, that would help that average out. But out in the middle is pretty good. But I don't know if it's gonna top this. I did have a little bit of germination problems in the no-till where I'm guessing it was probably there was enough moisture to get the corn to sprout, but not enough moisture to keep it alive for a week until it rained. Where in this tilled field, it was just so dry from the get-go that it didn't, the seed just sat in the ground. I do remember that when we checked on it, that there was a lot that hadn't germinated still. And apparently it didn't die. It just seed that hadn't germinated, and it came through really well. I haven't seen any crawdad mounds. I haven't been looking too close at the ground. I'm just watching the ears, make sure they go in the head. But if you remember from, you know, the planting and update video of the no-till corn versus this field, we were already having crawdad mounds being built, and, you know, we hadn't had much rain at all. So yeah, this field excels in drought. area of the field can typically be awash. This year it is not. It's a miracle what happens when the rain goes and jumps off a cliff. Especially in this soil. It's amazing how little water you really need to grow corn. I would hazard to guess you probably grow corn on 10 inches from planting to black layer. Of course, that's probably assuming that there is some ground moisture to start with. But in a perfect world, well, we don't have a perfect world. But, you know, that would be a half inch of rain every other week or something for the growing season every week. But I guess that's also assuming adequate ground moisture to begin with. And I know there's places that may only get 10 inches during the growing season, but they're pretty far west and fairly dry the rest of the year. They're probably dry in the summer too. I know their soil probably isn't as much clay as mine. It's not red brick clay, it's more like pottery clay. Let's go throw a bowl on a pottery wheel. Side took a little bit of wind. That's the other thing, it's super windy today. Yesterday's corn came in at 19%. We haven't tested this yet. I'm tickled to death to be harvesting corn under 20. And really, when you crack a kernel open, it's the germ that has the moisture. The flint and the flour part is dry. Oh, would you behave? Sometimes you just gotta slap your electronics good. This corn came from a little place called Bald Ridge, and they retired this year, unfortunately. So I'm on the lookout for more conventional corn that can walk on water, or at least swim. That's in the 100-day range. You know, like just over 102, 105. I used to plant 112-day, but that had really good dry down. Yeah, same corn between here and the no-till stuff. Pretty much same corn for me everywhere. The only thing that was different is we ran out of seed and Dad had to get some longer season stuff to plant for silage. That's what they had left. So at least I can get this quick view of hands-free unloading, because that wagon is big enough, thanks to me topping off these other ones, that I shouldn't have to worry about it running over at all. So that is good. Come out here and take a look-see. They got some cobs and they're in pretty big pieces. But let's come look at the corn. That's what we're here for. Get a good up-close view, because I haven't looked at this a whole lot. There's an ear. That one tried for a second one. Trying to find, it's always good. It tried. I don't know what it was missing. It definitely wasn't water. And I fertilized the same as I always do. Well, let's pull one back. That one had a little bit of worm and some tip dye back. What about, well, this one's kind of open and easy to see. that one filled to the tip and had a little worm in it. Why didn't the crawdads eat those worms? Well, that one tried, didn't make it. This one doubled. Here we go. This one was a good double. That's an okay double ear. And here's its first ear. Like I was picking ear corn and seeing some small ears in it. Like everything looks too good. And then I started running into doubles. Here's another one. And this is what, you make your bushels. You can only get the ear so big, but if you can get another ear, you really add on. And that's got a pretty good first ear. Now out here where there's not many plants, I would expect more doubles. And, well, this one doubled, that one didn't. That's a pretty good ear. We'll do a quick count on the all around. Of course, I'm picking this ear here, which is totally unscientific. Well, let's count around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14? I started by that red spot. I've never seen a 14. So that's a very unscientific check. But trying to, be random. This is the double I peeled back. So I wonder what's better, length or girth, or just having two at once. I don't know. We'll find out at the end when we get it all harvested. All I know is we're filling wagons, it's flowing in good, and I couldn't ask for better weather. Well, it is a magical moment, but not the magical moment. Magical enough. It's not the end. It's just the end of this field, but not the end of the corn. Still one more field on the road to go get. Wow, this field did really well this year. I have to do some figuring once we get unloaded in the morning and get back to you on that. I'd say it did slightly better than the no-till just because it didn't have as much population issues. But as far as looking at ear size and everything on the stock, it's pretty close. This one might have a few more doubles thrown in where it's not, 5 feet without a stock. But, these standard population, we had a couple of attempts at doubles here and there. And even the no-till did fantastic, especially what it came from. It was an ugly attempt to play the insurance game before I got a chance to farm it. And now it's actually producing something instead of just insurance claims. Now let's look at the yield monitor. It's dark. That means the window's fully covered. That's what I thought. That's what I thought. The bin is full. So we have a long drive to the other end of the field ahead of us, but that's the end of this one. And I've just been doing down and back and then unloading because I figured I would be stranded at the far end with a full hopper.